Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. Today our topic is going to be backsliding, and our guest is going to be Kathy Rhodes.
So I'm on this new medicine that makes me very thirsty, and I'm not one to usually drink that much throughout the day. In fact, I would often say I'm probably dehydrated, but not on this medicine. I'm constantly filling up my cup with water, iced tea, really whatever I can get my hands on, and it's never enough. I just want more and more. So you may be thinking, so what does this have to do with anything? Well, it got me thinking, is my walk with the Lord thriving? Am I thirsty for more of Him, much more, or am I in a dry place, and am I okay with that? There are days for sure that I am seeking Him more, that I'm on my hands and knees asking and pleading for more of Him. But there are probably more days where I'm okay with just getting my time in, not really digging that much deeper, and pretty much just checking it off my list of things that I do. And eventually I notice that my cup is becoming pretty empty, and nothing good is flowing from my mouth because of it. I realize that I need to fill up once again. But I believe God doesn't want us to live from a place of always being almost empty, but wants us to live from a place of the overflow, where our cup is so full of Him that we can live from this place of overflow, where we just can't get enough, and we always desire more, to know Him more, not just on a surface level, but on a truly intimate level, where He's the number one priority and nothing else even comes close. A place of total surrender, a place where we see growth daily, a place where we only thirst for more of Him. And I need to be more careful with not letting my cup become empty, but also I need to be careful what I choose to fill that cup with. You see, as a diabetic, filling my cup up with Mountain Dew, well, that's probably not helping me. Sure, it tastes good, but I know it's not doing me any good. But filling my cup up with water, now that's helping me in a big way. And just as water is the better source for my health, there's a living water that's even better and will cause us to not thirst anymore. John 4:14 says, "But whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give them will become in them a spring of water, welling up to eternal life." Oh, may I live in this place, that place of overflow, of joy, of hope, of less of me and more of Him. May I not just check off my time with Him, but truly lean into this time. May I not just do all the praying, but actually take time to listen to what He has to say. May I grow in knowledge and wisdom. May the things I fill up with be the overflow into others' lives. May I not live in the empty, but in His complete fullness, the place that God has always wanted me to live from. And I pray the same thing for you. And we are just three ladies with big opinions, always backed by a biblical standpoint. So let's talk about it.
This segment is brought to you by Harry's Construction, whose motto is, "If you can dream it, we can create it." They are the kitchen and bath design experts, so call Harry's Construction for all your remodeling needs.
When it's time for a new roof, Champion Roofing is your best choice. We're a certified award-winning roofing contractor, meaning your roof is done right the first time. Call today.
Champion Roofing, we're the solution.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. And today we're going to get into one of those words that maybe people don't really know what it is, so we'll describe it and does it exist? And that's backsliding. So when I say backsliding, Arlene, what do you think of?
If I was a hiker, okay? I have hiked in my life, but I'm not a hiker. But when I have hiked, okay, there was a time when we were hiking and we were going up a fairly steep incline, and it was muddy. And I really lost my footing and ended up scrambling and slid back down. It didn't mean that I wasn't hiking. It just meant that I had slidden off the trail of where I needed to be. Do I think we can backslide as a Christian? Absolutely. Do I think it means we're not a Christian? No, I don't. Do I think that we can fall off the trail and be lost?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
But there's a difference.
But there is a big difference.
Yes.
I
I
do
agree,
think
and
that.
I love that illustration. That's a
Yeah.
great illustration.
Yeah, it didn't mean I wasn't hiking.
Right.
It just meant I had lost my footing.
Right.
Do I lose my footing as a Christian? You better believe it.
Yes. And I wish that wasn't the case.
I do
know,
too.
I get angry at myself.
You bet.
But,
You bet.
what are some things that you would say are reasons that start you into that process of backsliding?
Oh,
Oh, I don't want to talk about that because I know mine.
complacent,
Ooh,
That's a good one.
Oh,
Yes.
I don't like that one either.
thinking that it can happen to everybody else, but it's
And
never
not
going to
me.
happen
Yes.
to me.
Yes.
I mean, think about it. That's how people have affairs. They think, oh,
Yeah.
well, I would never do that.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that one.
Yeah.
And something back to the hiking illustration. The way I got back on my footing was the person that I was with was ahead of me, and I grabbed their hand and they pulled me up.
Yeah.
We need each other.
Right.
We need community. I need to be encouraged and called out by my friends, by my good friends.
Right.
Not just by anybody.
Right.
Somebody who that has earned it.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between that and totally, then what do you call it when somebody just totally walks away from their faith?
Yeah.
Just totally
For
walks
me,
away.
I think the difference is when I'm backsliding, it's something I'm noticing. I don't like it. I want to get out of it. I desire to still be in relationship with Christ. I think someone who's totally fallen away has no desire to pursue Christ anymore.
They may not even realize it, not even care.
Right.
I do think there's a distinct difference. I do.
I believe there is. And for me, there have been times when definitely I've backslidden. And for me, the things that I see happening, one big one is not being in God's word anymore. Where I'm like, because I'm very consistent at that. That's something I've worked hard at. And if I go 2 days, that's a lot for me.
Right.
If I go a week, that's a real lot. And I've said before that my husband can even say to me, "Did you have your time with the Lord today?" That's how
obvious it is.
obvious it is.
Wow.
It's not the same for him. I don't see it like that, but he sees it in me. So it's that important that I am feeding my spirit like that daily. And so for me, a week is too much. A week is too much. It's going to change my attitude and how I react to things. So that's a big one where I see backsliding start to happen for me.
I do think that word complacency, though, we, especially as Christians, we get busy doing God's stuff, whether it's decorating at the church or mowing the grass or
Good things.
Huh?
Not necessarily bad
No.
things.
No,
good things.
not bad things.
Right.
No, it can even be a Bible study. But if all you're doing is reading a book about the Bible, there's a problem there.
And you're right. I've noticed I lead a Bible study. I can't just study that book and what I'm going to teach about it
That's right.
because that's not feeding my soul and filling me back up. I need to spend personal one-on-one time with him, letting him speak to me regardless of what the book's about.
I can't even be on this show and do episodes without at least looking up, finding one scripture that's
Scriptures that
pertinent
go
to
with
what
it.
we're talking
Yes,
about.
yes.
Whether I share it on TV, I always have it here in front of me.
I will look up scriptures just because it feeds me.
Right.
Yes.
It helps me
And
stay
it gives
consistent.
me a foundation to build on in my conversation
Right.
with you guys. Because it's not, we say big opinions, but what's the rest of it?
Biblical.
My opinion at
Biblical.
the end of the day means nothing.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
what do we do when either we see it in ourselves or in somebody else? How much responsibility do we
I love
have?
that you brought that up about seeing it in somebody else, because there was a time that I really had an issue with backsliding. And I sat in the back of the church and I couldn't get out of here quick enough. And I knew where I was and I was hurting, but not one person said anything to me. And I don't know if it was out of fear, because I can be a lot or whatever, but no one really said anything to me like, hey, I see something's happening.
That's very interesting.
And I don't know how I would have handled it, to be honest, because sometimes I can be like, well, whatever, you're
Well,
wrong.
all things in love, though.
Right. So I don't know. I'm not
Yeah.
saying, but I have been now very careful to kind of, I don't know if monitors, but like kind of watch my group of friends.
Yes.
And just, hey, are they in an okay place? Are they coming on Sundays and worshiping the same? Are they, do I see joy on them? You know, trying to recognize signs so that, hey, if there's something off, maybe I can say something
Yeah.
to encourage.
Yeah, the thing is, you don't know how you would respond because nobody did it.
Right.
Nobody came to you and said, is something off?
Right.
Nobody did. Therefore, you have no idea how you would respond.
And I'm okay with that now. I mean,
Yes, but
it put a sensitivity in me
that's right.
now to do that for others. So I actually appreciate that part of it. And I do think we need to be people who are more willing to
Do the hard things.
say the
because
hard
it is
things.
hard.
Yeah, it's not
It
easy.
is very hard to, let's say, confront someone.
Right.
But let's do it from the heart and let's love each other through it. There are times I'll say to somebody, hey, something just seems off. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
You know, let's talk about it.
And often, actually, more than not, I think people do want
That's
someone
right.
to reach out to them.
Yeah. But if you come to somebody in condemnation, of course it's going to put walls up.
Right.
Of course it is.
And I think as far as ourselves, keeping ourselves in line, we know that prayer is important. We know that the word is important. We know going to church is important. We know the things that keep us in line. And we have to be intentional with those and make them a priority and take our relationship with God very seriously.
That's right. I have to know myself well enough. You have to know yourself
Right.
well enough to know when something's off.
Right.
When something's
Recognize
off.
it and get it fixed.
That's exactly
Don't
right.
stay there and
Yeah.
let it get worse.
That's right.
Because it's not going to get better until you choose to change it. And that's really what it is. We
It
have
is.
to recognize and be intentional. Well, that's just a little bit about backsliding. Let me end with this verse for you. Matthew 26:41 says, watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Yes, the flesh is weak. And we must be intentional with our time with God and take it more seriously. And when we come back, we will have our guest for the day.
Mouth-watering family recipes, easy-to-make meals, humor and faith fill the inspiring show Dano on the Counter. Born with only half a spine, Dano Burkhardt was never supposed to be able to hold his head up. Despite countless surgeries, a stroke, leg amputations, and kidney transplants, Dano developed a contagious love for life. Join Dano on Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. on Fox 8 as he shares his easy-to-make dishes and the hope that keeps him pushing forward.
Impact Productions, a multi-layer technology company providing on-site, online, and in-studio video services. Contact Impact Productions to capture your story.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. We have a very special guest with us today. And before we get to the reason that you're here, introduce yourself to us.
My name's Kathy Rhodes. I'm a native Altunan here. I have recently retired
Have
and
you? Good for you.
recently retired and decided to do some work for the Lord. So I have a wonderful husband,
How long have you been married?
coming up on 48 years.
Awesome. Congratulations.
4 wonderful daughters and son-in-laws to go with them, and then 13 beautiful grandchildren.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, Kathy.
Yes,
That's
it's
awesome.
great. They range from ages 1 to 21, so it's like
I agree.
so maybe in a couple of years I'll be great grandma.
Great grandma.
Yeah, there you go.
And what do your grandkids call you?
Grammy.
Grammy. Okay.
Yeah, I sort of like the Grammy. It reminded me of like an award. Not that I'm an award, but I thought, yeah, I don't want grandma.
I love that,
So,
Granny.
Grammy,
Yes,
yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
So,
Well, we brought you here today to talk about a ministry in town that a lot of people are not aware of.
yeah.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, Celebrate Recovery is just, to me, an amazing ministry because it's a faith-based ministry. And it's a ministry for everybody. I
That's
think
right.
people think that, oh, that must be for people that
Addicts
have
and stuff.
drugs
Yes.
and alcohol issues. Celebrate Recovery is for anybody who has hurts, habits,
or
and
hang-ups.
Now, who do you know that doesn't have one of the three?
That's right.
Right. I mean, but here we get an opportunity in a fellowship to work on some of those issues that we have in life, based on a 12-step program, and and just be encouragers for one another throughout the program. It's an opportunity. It's a support group.
It
you
is.
know how much support groups are really needed in our lives. We just encourage one another and we learn from one another. We heal from one another, which is huge.
Yeah.
So just sharing our stories, people have just benefited tremendously from that.
What's your role in the ministry? Like, what do you specifically?
Well, we have, my personal role is I do the openings at the meeting. I schedule the videos that the teachings that we see, and then the small group discussion questions, that kind of stuff. I do that. And then I facilitate the ladies group.
Oh, okay.
So after we have a 30-minute teaching with everybody, men and women together, and then Pastor John Gray does a great job with the men. He takes the men into small group, and then I have the ladies.
Right.
So we discuss the teaching and anything else that's going on in our lives, that needs to be addressed.
How many people would you say are involved right now?
Right now in, you mean attending and
Yeah.
everything total? So right now we probably have about 7 or 8 regulars in the ladies. The guys normally outnumber us. There's about 15, about
Really?
12 to 15
That
guys
surprises me, actually.
that comes, yeah. And, and it's just, we're there from 6 to 7:30. Now, prior to COVID, we had the full-blown, Celebrate Recovery really encourages you to come together for a meal, and have cafe time afterwards. But with COVID, boy, everything got shut down totally. And,
It changed the way things operate,
yeah.
even in the long term.
But that's, and for that reason, we've just put it down to the bare minimum because we lost a lot of people. So we just have our meeting together and then our separate groups, small group meetings. And our small groups, like in larger Celebrate Recoveries, they have different, if you have, NA, AA, you could be in that group. If you have an eating disorders, you'd be in another group. Retail therapy, you got another group.
Oh, I need that one. I need that.
But,
They break it down a little more into larger groups,
Yeah.
but not your group.
Right, because there's not that many of us. But we all have some type of
Yes, we
addiction,
do.
don't we?
Yes, we
It's all in
do.
how you look at it.
Yep, absolutely. What got you interested in doing this with the Celebrate Recovery?
I had, back in 2011, I started working at a halfway house doing a Bible study
Oh, okay.
using the Life Recovery Bible Study, so working with the women. And these ladies have been around and had support groups, and they mentioned Celebrate Recovery, and I had no idea what Celebrate Recovery was.
Yeah, I actually had never heard of it prior to.
Yeah, and so I was looking it up, and I was familiar with Saddleback Church out in California, and they were the originators of it. Johnny Baker started the program, and just looking at it, it's a 12-step, it's faith-based. And I thought, we need one of those around here. Not only do we need one in the heart of Altoona, somewhere where, because a lot of people who need these support groups don't have transportation.
Don't drive. That's right.
So it has to be somewhere in the heart of the city, And it was actually a program that got started in 2018. I was not the originator of the program, but that came out of Overflow Church, where Roger and Loretta Johnson started that program. And I started training, and really, I just wanted to be a part of it, because just working with those ladies in the halfway house, their stories are enough to motivate you to want to do something for the cause.
Oh, I love that. I love that you took what someone else needed and made it your ministry. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for some of them, they had no chance except for the grace of God for what they've been through. When your own mother and father have basically taught you drugs, alcohol, all these, disorders that they're carrying through life, everybody needs help. Yeah, everybody needs support. Some more than others, but yeah, that's how it really got started through that. And some of the things that we've seen because of Celebrate Recovery, some of the ladies that have been through the program are now some of the leaders in some of the agencies around here, because what they went through was turned around. Their life has been redeemed, and now they're just helping other people. And I think that's the God plan.
That is beautiful.
I think
That's what
you
it's about.
provide an environment where judgment's left on the other side of the door.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when we're recovering from things, we judge ourselves so much more. We don't need somebody else pounding down on it.
Exactly.
Yes.
That guilt and the oppression.
Yes.
He wants us to not get help.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why I love that you looked at it and said, okay, these women have been through a lot. And that motivated you to be able to place yourself in their life and move them away from that.
Yeah.
And I wish I had some of your, I bet you have the best stories.
Yeah.
Redemption stories.
Yeah, like what can you share that's been like an impact? Why would someone want to be part of Celebrate Recovery? What have you seen as just an impact on?
Well, just even in myself, even in my own history, I have seen where I always thought I was a peacemaker. A peacemaker meant I just zip it, don't talk about it, push it under the rug, whatever. But Celebrate Recovery says, no, that's not what we call peacemakers. That's what we call avoiding conflict. So learning how to face your conflicts. Wow. The ladies will tell us all the time, I can come here and share whatever. They'll share with us things that their families have no knowledge of, because it is a safe environment, right? We are sworn to confidentiality. They're not going to be feeling like, oh, you're looking down on me because I did this. No, not at all. We just love one another, encourage one another, and just, let everybody tell their own story. Some of the other ladies said they found their voice. They were always they wouldn't feel confident enough to speak up because they've been beaten down so much in life. And so they find their voice.
That's important.
Yes.
So if
very
someone
important.
wants to join your Celebrate Recovery group, what would that look like? Do they have to do something special? Do they have to apply?
Come as you are.
Okay.
Come as you are. We meet at Hope Community Church right on 11th Street. The doors are open. Come in. Join us. You're more than welcome to come.
What day of the week?
And that's Thursday evenings.
From 6 to 7:30.
6 to 7:30. And if you can't make the meetings, we also have another avenue. we can go ahead and we have a Facebook page. So it's Celebrate Recovery, Hope Community, Altoona, PA.
Awesome. Kathy, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for your heart for people in recovery and acknowledging that you yourself were helped by it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. And friends, know that we all have hurts, habits, and hang-ups, and we all need help. Thank you for joining us, and come back in just a moment and we'll have our tip for the day.
Does tax preparation overwhelm you? Do you want assurance that your taxes are done right? Do you want to ensure that you're getting your maximum refund? Let me tell you about the New Life Worship Center Tax Ministry. This ministry began over 14 years ago, and in their first year, they helped 2 people with their taxes. The second year, they increased to around 100. Since then, they've grown to a 25-member team of volunteers from around the world. The creator of this ministry, Scott Seifer, began tax preparation in the Air Force, and H&R Block equipped him to oversee his thriving ministry. Over the years, they have helped 7,100 people receive a total of more than $10 million in tax refunds, and all that is asked is a $30 minimum donation. We encourage you to take advantage of this ministry opportunity. Contact them at 814-215-1933 for more details.
When it's time for a new roof, Champion Roofing is your best choice. We're a certified award-winning roofing contractor, meaning your roof is done right the first time. Call today.
Champion Roofing, we're the solution.
For generations, Dick's Home Care has been providing the best equipment and service for patient care at home. Breathe easier with oxygen from Dick's Home Care. Oxygen concentrators give you a continuous oxygen supply at home. Oxygen cylinders supply oxygen without power. And portable oxygen frees you to go. Dick's Home Care technicians will set your oxygen up and make sure you know how to use it. Call the leader in home medical equipment, Dick's Home Care.
So my tip today is this little bottle here that I've got called Magic Root Cover Up. So you ladies who color your hair, you know how expensive it can be. And then something starts to happen when you get a little older. That gray starts poking out, and a lot quicker for me. And so I didn't want to spend all this money all the time to get the gray covered up. So I was looking for a way to fix that. And someone told me about this Magic Root Cover Up. And you can get it in different colors to match the shade of your hair. And I'm actually wearing it today because I wasn't able to go get my hair colored, just to hide those grays. And it's about, I think it costs about $8 or $10. And it lasts a pretty long time because you don't need a lot of it. And it's just a great way to get you through till that next hair color. So go try it out, see if it works for you to cover those grays. And until next time, let's talk about it.